Western Balkans stand at the edge of a clean energy revolution, where bold ideas ignite real-world change. For 8 years, the Macedonian Energy Forum has powered progress toward a sustainable future. From energy efficiency to clean fuels, we're building resilient cities and industries united by a vision of decarbonization by 2050. Together, we align with global goals, harness AI, and foster cooperation to lead the energy transition. Join us to power a net zero future.
Дами и господа, Ваши ексцеленции, почитувани представници на официалните институции, представници на компаниите и бизнисот и експерти, драги гости, добредојдовте на 8-то издание на МЕФ енергетскиот форум, настан кој што прерасна од платформа за дискусија до арена за конкретно действување. Јас сум Катарина Синадиновска и денес, заедно со мојот драг колега Огнен Јаневски, ќе бидеме вашите домаќини.
Dear friends, welcome to MEF 2025. I'm truly glad to be here with all of you today and tomorrow as well, together with my colleague Katarina, as we guide you through this important regional event.
For 8 consecutive years, MEF Energy Forum is the premier gathering set to supercharge the Western Balkan journey towards clean energy revolution. MEF presents a dynamic platform where bold ideas meet real-world action, syncing regional ambitions with the global path for sustainability, just in time for the game-changing insight expected from COP30 in Brazil. At the current energy landscape, the stakes are high and the challenges are real. With the shifting geopolitical landscape and a fast-evolving energy sector, the Western Balkans yet again navigates between energy transition and energy security. That is why we create a platform where the brightest minds converse on how to turn obstacles into opportunities. Top-tier policymakers, visionary industry representatives, cutting-edge tech innovators, and passionate civil society leaders all strive jointly sparkling solutions to steer us through uncertainty towards a net zero future.
Expect highly energizing discussions on tripling renewable energy capacity, unleashing groundbreaking technologies, building robust industrial foundations, accelerating competitiveness, and ensuring energy efficiency and clean fuels reach every corner of the region. This is your chance to be part of a movement fueled by innovation, collaboration, and smart investment, where the Western Balkans don't just adapt to the energy transformation, but lead it. Join us in power at the future. Key objectives of this forum are to foster deeper cooperation across the Western Balkans amid rapidly shifting geopolitical context, align regional priorities with full decarbonization by 2050 and COP30 commitments, support local and regional industrialization, and steer fruitful discussions, partnerships, and follow-up initiatives around technological innovations and AI utilization in the energy sector. And now, for the official opening.
Yes, for the official opening, we invite Mr. Agim Salami,
the CEO at the MEF Energy Forum.
Welcome.
Agim, the floor is yours.
Distinguished guests, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the 8th edition of the MEF Western Balkans Energy Forum. It is a true honor to open this year's forum and to welcome you here in Skopje, a city that once again becomes the beating heart of energy dialogue in the Western Balkans. This year, as you all know, we meet under a very important milestone, and that is the one decade of the Paris Climate Agreement, a decade of ambition, declarations, and increasingly urgent calls for action. And yet, for many in our region, climate ambition has yet to meet the full measure of reality. Today, that gap between ambition and implementation is no longer just a technical matter. It is, moreover, political, economic, and above all, it is generational. Over the next 2 days, MEF will serve not only as a regional platform, but also as a mirror that will reflect the real progress the region has made, the challenges still before us, and the collective will it will take to drive this transformation forward. This year's agenda, as you might have seen from the program, is quite ambitious, and rightly so. We will tackle complex questions, starting from critical raw materials, climate finance, energy transitions in regions depending on coal, and how to manage them justly. We will speak candidly about these challenges and trade-offs, but we will also share concrete solutions. We have gathered here political leaders, CEOs, ministers, civil society leaders, climate advocates, and energy investors, all with a shared recognition that the Western Balkans is not on the margins of the global green transition. We are all part of its front line. Let me now take a moment to thank our key institutional partners, the First Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Izet Mejiti, and his team, Minister Sanja Božinovska and the Ministry of Energy, Mining and Mineral Resources, the EU delegation to North Macedonia and the Ambassador Mihalis Rokas, the Open Society Foundations, Western Balkans, and the Deputy Director Miodrag, and many others who make this forum not just possible, but also meaningful. To all of your distinguished speakers and panelists, I would like to thank you for being here. Thank you for enriching our program, and thank you for being here to not just speak, but also to listen, to challenge each other's views, and also to co-create a region that has the energy future among its priorities. Let this MEF not be remembered for the declarations we make, but for the decisions we ignite and the collaborations we inspire. We have no time for business as usual, but we have just enough time if we choose to shape the transition that is first and foremost just, inclusive, and lasting. Welcome once again to the MEF Energy Forum. Let this be where ambition meets action. Thank you very much for being here. Vi благодарам многу на сите. Фалемнделит të gjithëve. Happy 24 deri.
Dear Ragim, thank you very much for your speech. The help, the support that our country is receiving from the European Union in the energy sector, in the energy transformation, is really huge, and we are very grateful about it. We have with us the ambassador of the European Union, Mr. Mihalis Rokas. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Katerina. Thank you, Ajim, and dear Deputy Prime Minister, dear Minister, colleagues, dear friends. It's a privilege for me to be part for the first time in this impressive surroundings and this very important dialogue, especially at this moment of European history as our continent accelerates its energy transition to meet global climate and security challenges. Over the past 2 years, the European Union has adopted a major legislation of the Fit for 55 package, as you are all aware. It will help us cut the greenhouse emissions by 90% by 2040, relatively to 1990, and become climate neutral by 2050. The Repower EU plan has further strengthened our efforts. We have significantly reduced reliance on Russian fossil fuels, and we continue to do so. We have expanded our renewable energy capacity and improved energy efficiency. Our ambition under the EU Green Deal is to reach a renewable energy target of 45% by 2030 and improve our energy efficiency by 12%. So building on these foundations, the EU recently unveiled its Clean Industrial Deal, which should turn decarbonization into a driver of competitiveness. This is to say that the European Union has embarked on a journey of transformation of our economies and societies, and we want to make them greener and more competitive. Of course, we are here on we are looking into the Western Balkans as part of our partners and part of this ambitious journey. And here in North Macedonia is showing great determination to move forward. In the past year, we have seen encouraging progress. We have a new Ministry of Energy, Mining and Mineral Resources. We have a new energy law that was just adopted, and the revision of the National Energy and Climate Plan is underway. Governance for the just transition is formally now in place, and steps are being taken to implement reforms and investments aligned with EU standards and in line with the National Energy Action Plan and the reform agenda. And I want to commend the Minister for the efforts. Of course, there's still things to be done. North Macedonia still needs to finalize and adopt key legislative procedures, including the Renewable Energy Law, amendments to the Energy Efficiency Law and the Law on Climate Action. And then the Electricity Integration Package should be fully transposed, and the Strategic Environmental Assessment for the National Energy and Climate Plan must be completed. I'm sure it is underway. So also we need to face the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, which will start to apply in 2026. So these steps, they are becoming even more urgent, but with joint work and determination, I'm sure we will get there. So I want to say also to use this platform to explain a little bit of what we do as European Union, supporting reforms and investments. Here in North Macedonia, we, under the Reform and Growth Facility, 145 million have been allocated for energy reforms, and almost 1/5 of the total country allocation, which is quite significant. In addition, over 6 million euro are available through the IPA instruments and 80 million euros through the energy support package. Reforms and investments go hand in hand. That is why we are also working together with the government through the Western Balkans Investment Framework to prepare strong investment projects which must reach maturity in the next 3 years. Through the Economic and Investment Plan, the European Union has provided the country with close to 70 million for projects and clean energy and transmission infrastructure. In addition to the budget support of 180 million, during the energy crisis, the European Union provided financial assistance for public investments, such as the Bogdanci wind parks, the solar photovoltaic parks in Bitola and Oslomei, and the rehabilitation of the capabilities of 6 existing power plants. A few words about energy efficiency. The most effective way to strengthen our energy security is to reduce our energy demand. So the Energy Efficiency Directive requires the renovation of 3% of public buildings annually. Another directive makes zero emissions the standard for all new buildings in the EU from 2030. This might seem like an immediate and huge challenge, but it is also opportunities, and this is what we are looking at. Then we have the concept of just transition. Investment drives economic growth, which in turn improves prosperity, contributes to just energy transition, but moving through coal and lignite to green energy, we need to ensure that this transition must be social, fair, and inclusive. And no transition will be sustainable unless it includes the people it affects the most. That means ensuring that workers and communities currently dependent on fossil fuels, particularly on coal, are not left behind. So I'm very glad that we are putting those mechanisms in place in the EU, but also we're working hand in hand with the government to ensure that it is the same here in North Macedonia. Now about a few words about regional cooperation. So beyond the national reform, we must also deepen regional cooperation. A truly connected regional electricity market built on market coupling and grid interconnection is the best guarantee of supply stability and lower prices. Of course, we want to enhance the common markets of the Western Balkans, the regional market, in order also the gradual transition into the EU internal market takes place. So, in conclusion, I would like, first of all, to thank everybody involved for the organization of this prestigious forum. Every reform passed, every project launched brings us closer together and ensures a cleaner, fairer, and more secure future. So no time to waste. Let's work together with ambition and energy to make it a reality. Blagodaram, falimenderit.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Rokas. We continue now with the Deputy Director of the Open Society Foundation's Western Balkans, Miodrag Milosavljevic. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we gather here at a pivotal moment, not just for our region, but for Europe as a whole. The geopolitical instability, economic pressure from competing global actors, and the climate emergency we all face remind us of one thing: we need each other more than ever. For the European Union and the Western Balkans, the path forward is shared. And that path runs particularly through regional cooperation and as Ambassador just said, energy transition. This transition is not optional, it is already underway. But the real question is, will it be just, democratic, and development-driven? Or will it deepen divisions and place critical assets in the wrong hands? At Open Society Foundation's Western Balkans, we are clear in our conviction. The energy transition must be more than a compliance exercise. It must be a strategy for regional development and cohesion, rooted in the aspirations of our people, guided by the principles of fairness and driven by effective and transparent governance. Together with our partners across the region, civil society, governments, academia, expert community, we work to turn that vision into reality. That is why we are championing the development of a Western Balkans Green Industrial Policy Framework, a bold proposal for transformation. This strategic policy will serve not only to reduce emissions, but to create new opportunities, especially in those regions left behind by outdated industrial models. This idea draws from the spirit of the EU's Clean Industrial Deal. It recognizes that no single country can transition alone. Only through regional cooperation we can unlock large-scale resources, achieve efficiency, and make a significant contribution to Europe's prosperity. Another cornerstone of this transformation is decarbonization of our electricity sector, particularly in coal-dependent economies. This is not only an environmental imperative, it is a matter of public health, human rights, long-term economic competitiveness, and of course, European integration. The EU emission trading system might not be our starting point, but it is certainly our destination. To ensure a fair and effective path toward that goal, Open Society Foundations in the Western Balkans engaged leading experts from Oxford University to support Western Balkan governments in designing carbon pricing models that will fit and which are tailored to our development needs. We are also working with the Energy Community Secretariat to support governments in identifying renewable energy acceleration zones. But while institutions and policy frameworks really matter, the real transition happens where people live. That's why our work doesn't stop at the policy level. Throughout the Western Balkans, we supported solar panel installations on over 100 local schools. Through the installation of solar panels on public buildings and by forming citizen-led energy communities, we are turning policy into lived experience, and I'm happy to say that we are pioneering this right here in North Macedonia. The choices we make today will shape the lives of our young people across the region. That is why youth must be empowered as partners, innovators, and leaders in this transformation. The Western Balkans deserve a transition that lifts people up, that unites rather than divides, and that turns democratic principles into daily practice. And before I close, let me take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude to the incredible team at the ZIP Institute. Thank you so much. Once again, we had the privilege to work alongside you in shaping and supporting this year's MEF 2025. Your dedication, your vision, your unwavering commitment to progress made all the difference. We are looking forward to many more. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Deputy Director Milosavljevic. Now I would like to invite the Director General of the International Renewable Energy Agency, Francesco La Camera, to the floor. The stage is yours.
Dear Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct pleasure to be here in Skopje at the Macedonia Western Balkan Energy Forum 2025. First and foremost, I extend my gratitude to the government of North Macedonia for inviting me to be here today. The summit for addressing the energy future of the Western Balkans could not have come at a more pivotal time. Over 198 countries, including North Macedonia and Western Balkan states, committed to the COP UAE consensus, which is our collective goal to triple installed renewable capacity and to double the rate of energy efficiency by 2030. As a result, ARENA is tasked as custodian agency for the tracking of the tripling and the doubling goal, and we continue to partner with each forthcoming COP presidency on the monitoring of this critical objective. ARENA's latest figure show that 585 gigawatts of installed renewable capacity was added globally in 2024, with renewables accounting for over 92% of the total new installed power capacity in the same year. This brings total global installed renewable capacity to 4.4 terawatts. While this progress is admirable, we are not still moving at the required scale and speed needed to meet our 11.2 terawatts tripling target by 2030. We have also noticed as renewables are today the most competitive way to produce electricity in almost all the world. Moreover, over 85% of our capacity addition are geographically concentrated between North America, Europe, and China. The data reflects the urgent need to scale up capacity addition in developing countries to achieve a truly just, inclusive, and equitable global energy transition. Europe added approximately 70 gigawatts of installed renewable capacity in 2024, bringing the continent capacity total renewable capacity around 849 gigawatts. However, renewable capacity for the Western Balkan region accounts for only 11 gigawatts, which is less than 1 gigawatt added in 2024. These figures highlight that the Western Balkans hold vast, largely untapped renewable energy potential in solar PV and in onshore wind to hydropower and geothermal. With the right investment and political will, the region could become a clean energy leader, securing sustainable jobs and energy independence. Financing and international collaboration play a critical role in achieving a just transition. Our data shows that from now until 2030, we will need to invest more than 1.5 trillion of US dollars annually in renewable by 2030 to stay on track toward our 11.2 terawatt target. At ARENA, we recognize that the barriers developed countries face, ranging from a lack of critical infrastructure, a lack of coherent policy framework, a lack of technical capacity, and difficulties in assessing external financing. To address this barrier, ARENA has supported more than 100 members, including countries from the Western Balkans, in every planning, technical assistance support for the national determined contribution, and various other forms of support for renewables priorities and adoption. In partnership with UNDP, under the Climate Promise Cooperation Platform, ARENA published the report, The Risky Investment in North Macedonia. We also conducted a renewable readiness assessment for countries in this region like Albania and others. At the regional level, ARENA signed a memorandum of understanding with the Energy Community Secretariat to provide support for the energy community members. Through close collaboration with the European Community Secretariat and the European Commission, ARENA published Renewable Energy Prospect for Southeastern Europe Energy Connectivity. ARENA also undertakes project facilitation and bankability assessment for its developing countries' membership in order to accelerate renewable projects on the ground. And these facilities are useful also for other countries that are not just the developing one. As a result, the Energy Transition Accelerated Financing Platform, the so-called ETAF, facilitates donors to access a demand-driven pipeline of eligible, bankable, and business-ready projects in developing countries and in countries elsewhere that align with the Paris Agreement and the SDGs. ARENA understands the importance of collaborating regionally for greater impact. At COP29, under the leadership of Azerbaijan, we have launched the Accelerated Partnership for Renewable in Central Asia, which is an accompanying investment forum planned for later this year. Under a similar model, in October this year, ARENA will launch a regional initiative for renewable in Southeast Asia under the leadership of Singapore, with an accompanying regional investment forum to follow in 2026. To this end, just last week, Brazil launched the Global Coalition for Energy Planning, and this has been asked, ARENA has been asked to be the secretariat of this initiative. And the aim is to foster transparent, evidence-based energy planning, to close the investment gap in the renewables-based energy transition, particularly in emerging markets and developing economies. Furthermore, I am pleased to share that in just a few days, ARENA will organize an Energy Transition Private Sector Roundtable for Europe and Central Asia under the Energy Knowledge Forum of the World Bank in Antalya, Turkey. Our in a strong collaboration with North Macedonia and the Western Balkans clearly show that renewable energy can be harnessed domestically, all countries in various forms, but no renewable source of energy do not have the same promise, stability, or potential. On some level, I think we can all agree that the world is becoming more volatile and unpredictable. The energy sector is not an exception. Tariffs, sanctions, conflict, and supply chain disruption have affected global trade in energy, sparkling increased protectionism in some nations, causing commodity price and energy inequality to rise. Global geopolitical and geoeconomic shifts have pushed us for the better to reshape our understanding in energy security. Energy security will now be understood through renewable capacity, and this all true for regions like Western Balkans, with a large share of coal and updated fossil fuel facilities, which have to be decommissioned in the short term or medium term. In closing, I call countries to chart their own path towards energy security by increasing the provision of renewables in their national energy mix. You know, in the past, energy security was associated to oil and gas. This was at the reason for the International Energy Agency to be born in 1972, no? After the oil crisis. Now I think everyone understands that the best way to ensure energy security is go for a distributed energy system. No one can block the sun, can block the wind, can block the geothermal capacity. It's just a question of our capacity to harness this vector and make everything more secure for everyone. So we have to embrace all technology. We can go for hydropower-based pumped storage, battery storage, green hydrogen, and that's been said by the previous speaker, trying to make the better use of artificial intelligence for making the system working better, but also for reduce the demand for energy, and other innovative digitalized solutions to strengthen our energy system. I'm certain that the discussion held during this prestigious gathering will push us one step forward and accelerate a just, inclusive, and equitable energy transition in North Macedonia and the Western Balkans, powered naturally by renewable energy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The government of the Republic of North Macedonia is traditional partner of MEF Energy Forum. Here with us today we have our Minister for Energy, Mining and Mineral Resources, Stanja Božinovska. Minister Božinovska, the floor is yours.
Dobar den na sita. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming, and thank you, ZIP Institute, for inviting me and organization of this impeccable event. I will speak in Macedonian today. Mr. Ambassador Roka said many things about the energy, so he is becoming an expert in the energy situation in the country. So you will have the translation. Почитуван амбасадор на ЕУ во Македонија, господин Рокас, почитуван прв вице-премиер и министер за животна средина и просторно планирање, господин Меджити, почитувани представници на дипломатскиот кор, представници на институциите, ценети експерти, инвеститори, партнери, дами и господа. Со особена чест и задоволство денес присуствувам на Македонскиот енергетски форум, место кое година по година прераснува во клучна платформа за стратешки диалог и заедничка акција во областа на енергетиката. Живееме во време на динамични промени. Геополитичките случувања, енергетските кризи и климатските предизвици ни покажаа дека стабилна, безбедна и одржлива енергија не е луксус, туку императив за секоја држава и за секој граѓанин. Дозволете ми накратко да се осврнам на нашата визија и конкретните чекори што како влада ги превземаме за да обезбедиме оваа визија. Новиот закон за енергетика. Оваа година со голема посветеност и со широка јавна дебата го донесовме новиот закон за енергетика кој представува вистинска пресвртница во енергетскиот сектор. Законот овозможува целосна либерализација на пазарот на електрична енергија, со што ќе се стимулира фер конкуренција и ќе се отвори простор за нови приватни инвестиции. Јасни правила за производство и интеграција на обновливите извори, што значи полесна постапка за добивање лиценци и поголема предвидливост за инвеститорите. Воведување на енергетски заедници, каде што граѓаните и општините ќе можат заеднички да инвестираат и да произведуваат зелена енергија. Посилни механизми за заштита на потрошувачите, особено на ранливите категории, преку социјални тарифи и транспарентност на цените. Нагласен акцент на енергетска ефикасност како најчист и најекономичен извор на енергија. Инвестиции и конкретни проекти. Не остануваме само на нормативно ниво. Паралелно ја реализираме најамбициозната инвестициска агенда. Изградба на нови објекти од 1,6 гигавати до 2030 година, модернизација и проширување на преносната мрежа за подобра интеграција на зелени извори и зајакнување на регионалната поврзаност, нови интерконектори за природен газ со Грција, Србија и Косово, како дел од транзицискиот период кон чиста енергија и поврзување со регионот. За прв пат воведуваме и проекти за складирање на енергија, развој на зелени хидрогенски капацитети кои ќе бидат клучни за флексибилноста на системот. Регионалната соработка и европската хармонизација е секако вклучена. Ние сме членка на енергетската заедница и го движиме енергетскиот сектор кон полна хармонизација со европското законодавство и зелениот договор. Енергетската транзиција секако бара меѓусебна поддршка. Ниту една земја од Западен Балкан не може сама да изгради енергетската иднина која ќе биде сигурна, чиста и достапна. Затоа денес испраќаме јасна порака. Заедно сме посилни. Одговорност кон граѓаните и животната средина. Нашата политика се води од човекот и од природата. Го намалуваме загадувањето, ја подобруваме енергетската ефикасност на домовите, воведуваме паметни мрежи, дигитални решенија и ја јакнеме енергетската писменост. Сакаме граѓаните да бидат активни учесници, не само потрошувачи, туку и производители и заштитници на животната средина. Пред нас стои уште многу работа, но и многу можности. Овој форум е токму тоа, прилика да размениме идеи, да ги споиме јавниот и приватниот сектор и да поставиме конкретни чекори за следната година. Ви посакувам успешни сесии, плодни разговори и инспиративни решенија кои ќе го осветлат патот кон една поодржлива и посигурна енергетска иднина за сите нас. Ви благодарам.
Благодарам, министерка. We are wrapping up the first part of the forum with these opening speeches with Mr. Izad Medjiti, the first Deputy Prime Minister in the government of North Macedonia.
Благодарам. Nderuara ministre Sanja Božinovska i došor Libor Naliu, ministër i Malezi, zëvendës ministre energjetikës nga Turqia, ambasadorit Bashkimit Evropian, ambasador të shteteve prezente në Maqedoni, partner miq të dashur dhe posaçërisht drejtorin e ZIP Institutit për organizimin e mrekullueshëm për të treguar potencialin energjetik të Maqedonisë dhe për organizimin në nivel më të lartë. Është një nder i madh për mua t'ju drejtohem në hapjen e MEF Energy Forum 2025, një forum që është shndruar në pikën qendrore të dialogut rajonal për të ardhmen energjetike. Por sot, ne nuk flasim vetëm për energjinë. Ne flasim edhe për vizionin që duam të ndërtojmë për shtetet tona, për qytetarët tonë dhe për planetin tonë. Në një kohë turbulencash globale, geopolitike, ekonomike dhe klimatike, kemi një zgjedhje. Ose të vazhdojmë të përshtatemi ndaj krizave, ose do të marrim përgjegjësinë për të formsuar të ardhmen. Kjo konferencë është pikërisht ajo, një platformë për veprim dhe jo vetëm për analizë. Klima tashmë po ndryshon, temperaturat po rriten, purimet po shterojnë dhe pabarazia po thellohet. Në këtë kontekst, tranzicioni drejt energjisë së pastër është çështje shëndeti, sigurie dhe zhvillimi të qëndrueshëm. Prandaj, si Ministri i Mjedisit Jetësor dhe Planifikimit Hapësinor, besoj fuqishëm se tranzicioni energjetik duhet të jetë në thelb ekologjik, në natyrë sociale dhe në realizim i drejtë. Këto tema janë gjithashtu pjesë e agjendës së forumit të këtij viti, investimet në kohë të pasigurie, zvoglimi i varësisë nga lëndët e para kritike, tranzicioni pa largime nga puna dhe pa marginalizim, si dhe ndërtimi i sistemeve që i dëgjojnë dhe më të zëshmit edhe më të nënvlerësuarit në shoqëri. Do të flasim edhe për vendimet e vështira, por të domosdoshme. Si ta zaventësojmë varësinë nga qymiri me burime të ripërtrishme. Si të sigurojmë që financimi për klimën të arrijet tek ata që kanë më së shumti nevojë dhe si të shndrojmë synimet e marrëveshjes së Parisit në rezultate konkrete këtu në rajonin tonë. Sot, Ballkani Perëndimor ka mundësinë të mos jetë vetëm ndjekës, por udhëheqës në transformimin energjetik dhe klimatik. E kemi burimet, e kemi mbështetjen, e kemi edhe vullnetin. Tani është koha të lidhim këto elemente me leadership dhe guxim. Ministria e Mjedisit Jetësor dhe Planifikimit Hapësinor do të mbetet një partner i fortë në të gjitha proceset që sjellin një të ardhme më të pastër, më të drejtë dhe më të qëndrueshme. Për fëmijët tanë, por edhe për brezat që do të vinë. Së bashku krijojmë një të ardhme të qëndrueshme për të gjithë. Ju faleminderit dhe uroj një forum frymëzues, të sinqert dhe produktiv.
Благодарам, господине Меджити.
Thank you very much. So, in the time that comes for the next 10 minutes, the ones that were giving the official opening and welcoming speeches will have an official press briefing. So, if you can please take that time now, while we, the others in the hall, we will be just a technical information for everyone, since the round table will also have other languages. If you do need some equipment for translation and interpretation, because also an interpretation from Turkish language will be available, please do take this time. I'm giving you around 4 or 5 minutes just to take headphones if you do need translations, because multiple languages will be used in the round table here. Okay? 2 minutes, everyone.
It started with 5. Now it's 2. So hurry up.
Yeah, we don't have time. So this is not a break. It's only for you to take headphones.